Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
Winback Farm of Delaware is proud to present 3 new stallions for 2022. Oshawa 3-year-old Colt Pacer of the Year, he's watching with over $1 million in career earnings. Multiple stakes winners sports column with a sizzling 149-1 mark, and Yonkers Trot winner Top Flight Angel with nearly $1 million in career earnings. Also, Heston Blue Chip, a proven sire of stakes winners, will now stand at Diamond Creek Farm of Pennsylvania with earnings over $1.7 million. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Heather Vitale, and welcome to Harness Racing Update's very first edition of Twos in Training for the 2022 season. Sponsored by the Standardbred Horse Sales Company and Winback Delaware. From breaking all-time training records to winning countless awards, the accolades of Ron Burke seem endless. However, he's about to add another honor to his resume as he's inducted into the Hall of Fame this summer. But even with that prestigious title of Hall of Famer, it doesn't mean he's slowing down anytime soon. The Burke Brigade is in full force with new faces hitting the racetrack this season. We'll get to know some of them, plus much more, in this edition of Twos in Training. Welcome again, everyone. I'm Heather Vitale, and this is our first edition of our 2022 Season 4 Twos in Training from Harness Racing Update. Tonight in the hot seat, we have got Ron Burke, or should I say Hall of Famer Ron Burke, who I think is watching. I see his eyes going toward the television, watching a race from Yonkers, working all the time, this man.
Yeah, no, I think we might come down here, so it's a little bit interesting to see if we're going to stay up or not.
That's not good. I always tell everybody that I am not any kind of jinx, so please, I hope he stays up.
Yeah, no, I think I would leave him up, but I'd always leave him up.
So yeah, you're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this summer. You are officially a kind of a big deal, man. How's it feel?
It's exciting. It was a long time, getting there. My barn, it's not me, it's my barn, Burke Racing. And, we've been racing now. We've been only doing this for basically 40 years. So it was nice to be, recognized that, what we've done has been successful and people appreciate that.
Okay, now, before we get to talk about some of the horses tonight, we're going to look at some of your numbers. So let's put them up. So we've got for career, 12,400. It's actually 12,447 because I checked today. You had another win I had to add to that total. It seems like
There's one an hour coming up. That number is always changing. Purses at 274.8 million, and in 2021 you had 985 wins. The purses were 21.7 million. You know, in the past 13 years you've led in wins and purses, and even actually a few years before that, when you had your dad at the forefront of the Burke Brigade, you know, you guys were really on top of things. So obviously you need a lot of horses, you need a lot of really great horses, and this is a huge organization. You know, what is the size of the Burke stable, and how many different states are you in?
We're like 5 or 6 states, and we're just doing it. We're probably close to 350 horses in training right now. Or not in training, like 280 in training, and with broodmares and things and other things, we're probably pushing 350. There was a point last year when we were over 400, and we did make a concentrated effort to like get smaller, you know, and to say we got smaller at 350, we did get smaller, and I do want to maybe push down a little bit in the upcoming years, like, you know, get to 300. You know, it took us 13 years to get to that number. It's going to take us 13 years to get back down to a slower number, you know, unless the only thing is I have one son that is interested in the game. If he would, you know, when he graduates college and want to do it, then, you know, we might stay bigger. But if not, you know, with the rest of us, we're getting older. I don't think we're going to want to do this at this level forever. I mean, right now we love it. We all enjoy it, but it is a lot.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard something like that come out of your mouth, honestly. Yeah, well, let's slow down a bit. Really? I guess it's getting to that point. You're enjoying life. We just talked about, you just came off vacation at Key West. You know, there are more important things sometimes than business.
There's not more important things. There's other things. Business is the most important thing. So, you know, I love the horses. I love racing. Nobody enjoys winning more. It's all I want to do. But by the same thing, physically, if you think you can do at 60 what you could do at 30, you were either one lazy son of a bitch at 30 or you're kidding yourself. You know, so I'm not going to be capable of doing the same things that I've been doing up to this point. And I'm not that great at delegating to other people. I tend to just want to do it myself.
Okay. Well, you seem to have delegated pretty well over the years, having horses in 5 states. And I know you've got a really great team behind you.
Yeah, no, the guys behind me are incredible. Like every barn has a star that could do it on their own. And that's, you know, it's not that part. It's the, you know, the entering, the, you know, moving the horses around and keeping up with the employees, you know, getting enough employees to run the whole barn. You know, it's tough. There's not a lot of people out there right now looking for jobs.
No, that's true. That's true. Okay. Now I know this is Tuesday training, but of course I always like to cover some familiar faces. So we're going to do that with your barn. We're going to start with Luz Pearlman. And of course, winning the Little Brown Jug this year. Let's show the last part of that race because it was something else.
Going to the 3/4 station. It's Luz Pearlman by a head on the outside. Which way to the beach? Nose to nose, stride for stride, toe to toe. 3/4, 126 into the final turn. Luz Pearlman on the inside. Which way to the beach on the outside second? They open up on the rest. Town Gossip is third. 1/8 of a mile to go in Ohio. Luz Pearlman has the lead and starts to open up. Which way to the beach second? It's Luz Pearlman drawing away. Which way to the beach? Photo for show. The mile.
Yeah, wow, what a race.
Yeah, that was actually the elimination. That wasn't the final.
That
the
was
final,
the elimination?
We beat Perfect Sting in the final.
Wait a minute. Okay, so there must have been some miscommunication because I was jotting
Yeah,
down. So sorry. Okay.
we did work with State Mile. It was probably the best race of the year. It's probably the
Yeah.
best race I've been involved in reality. So it was
Yeah.
really cool.
I definitely pulled that race, and while it was going on, I was making notes of some questions to ask you. So, so I wasn't watching the feed as it was going on, but I know that during the race, I think that Luz Pearlman was sitting in the 2-hole. You do have
And he
it,
pulled
Curtis.
two
You can
old
show
boys.
it. Yes, and he pulled
He
out
pulled,
of the 2-hole, and I'm like, what?
yeah,
Okay, here we go.
this right here. To me, it's you had three
Okay.
horses from the 5/8 pole wheel to wheel across the track. To me, it's I mean as good as a race as you're going to see.
Lose Perlman, and on the inside, Perfect Sting. Who's it gonna be? Perfect Sting. Lose Perlman on the outside. Coming to the wire. Perfect Sting and Lose Perlman. Stride for stride. Follow all the way.
All right, there we go. There we go. Okay. Um, yeah, that's what live TV is all about. So
Yeah,
when one thing
I was
plays
just
and
like,
not the other, but yeah.
yeah, that was a
So
much more
tell
exciting.
me.
Yeah, to me, like it was
So
funny. Like, the first time I won the jug, like I was very like I was so excited. And I thought, wow, that was great. You know, it'll never feel the same. Then I won it the second time, and I was like, nope, it feels the same. And this one might even been better. Like it's a homebred, it's our sire, our mare. You know, he was the fastest 2-year-old of his year. He was the fastest 3-year-old of his year. You know, so it's special. You know, when you breed them, I understand how now people get like into that. Like that part, you are more proud of them when you're the breeder, you're the owner, and the trainer. You know, so it really was neat.
well, that worked out well because the question I was jotting down when I wasn't watching the race before, you actually just answered it. But I do want to get an update on Luz Pearlman.
Yeah, he's in about 15 right now, and he's staked to almost everything this year. I didn't want to go to the Levy, and even though he's good on a half, I have a lot of other aged horses that are older and they're maybe ready for it more. So that's, you know, I'll point Lou for it next year. But this year I wanted, you know, to start in the graduate and then work our way through the rest of the year and hopefully, you know, be competitive all the way through the year.
You know, one of the things, like you said, I know you won a few jugs, but it's not an easy race to win. And that week you won the jugette. And on top of that, you know, your parents, Mickey and Sylvia, got, you know, in the Little Brown Jug Wall of Fame. They were honorees. I mean, the entire week, just spectacular for your family.
Yeah, no, we actually set a record for most wins ever jug week that week too. It could not have been a more perfect week. I mean, the horses, you know, Scarlet upsetting Brett's horse, and then you know Lou Pearlman upsetting Perfect Sting. My parents getting inducted to the Wall of Fame there, and you know Ohio for us is a big deal for us, and we had a great finish to our year in Ohio. So it was fun. Like it's a place we like to go. I go there and stay the whole week. I train there on Sunday. It's the only day of the year I work on Sunday. I never would go out on with a horse on any other day, but Sunday we train the jughead horses and Monday we train the jug horses. And I think it gives us an advantage. We're there the whole week and like, I enjoy it. I do. It's fun. And, you know, we make money there, so it's more fun.
All right, let's move on to Atlanta. She is 7 years old now, a winner of $3 million. And I pulled a race. We're not going to actually listen to the stretch, but I just want to talk about her a little bit while we're watching this race from Lexington. You know, 149, fastest mile ever by an aged trotting mare. And actually, it's crazy because she beats Hannelore Hanover's mile. And of course, you trained handler Hanover. So that's pretty cool. And, I don't know, this race, it's just another thing to add to Atlanta's accomplishments. I mean, a household name, a fan favorite. What else can you say about this mare?
Well, she's trying to have her second baby. She had, a mare, a foal. She's going to have a foal coming up. We embryo transferred it last year. We're doing it again this year. So this year, though, last year we didn't train her while we did it, and we got a late start to the year. This year, we're trying to both train her and breed her at the same time. And then if we get her in foal, we'll transfer it to a nurse mare. And basically, so it's a big deal. Like if we can get a foal out of her every year and race her, we'll do it for these 2 years. And then I think that's it probably for her. I think this is her last year. We want to go out on a bang. Last year I felt like we were always behind because of starting late. And, we agreed this year that we were going to give the racing more of the priority than last year we gave the breeding more of the priority.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you, is she coming back? So I got my answer. So, gosh,
Yeah.
I love watching her race. So many people do. I mean, she's just so spectacular.
No, it'll be interesting too. I think, she's gotten bigger and stronger every year. She's more developed. She's really grown into being a beautiful mare. And so I'm excited for her. Like, we're going to go do all we can this year, go to every race we can and try to have as good a year as possible.
Oh, I did want to ask you though, this is a rumor, and you know how rumors are in harness racing. However, maybe she's going to the Elite Lop. I heard possibly, but this was back in the fall.
She can't go because of having the foal. You're not allowed to race in the Elite Lop in the same year that you had a baby, even though she's not carrying the baby and the baby will be born before the Elite Lop. It still didn't matter. She is not eligible, as the rules are right now, to race in the Elite Lop. Or we would have gone.
Wow.
We would have. Yeah.
Okay, good information. All right, I didn't know that. All right, let's move on to This Is the Plan. Also, he's 7 years old. He's made over $2.5 million. I have that race from Northfield when he took that fastest mile ever on a half-mile track, 1:47.3. I mean, he was so big in this race. It's almost unthinkable. Like, I'm old school. I grew up in this business, and 1:47.3 on a half-mile track, like, it's like, wait, what?
No, he's really gotten better every year. It's kind of funny. I'm starting to think of him as like a poor man's foiled. He's never going to be foiled again, but his career is targeting the same way foiled did. Every year got better, got stronger, got better at winning races. He had to learn to win. He was a very fast horse that would always follow, but maybe wouldn't win when he should have. Now he's kind of kicked that to the side and he's become a winner. And I expect him to have a big year this year. Last year, a couple things went wrong and we fell off a little bit at the end of the year. And, you learn as you go, and maybe I'll throw him a little break in the middle this year and not push him as hard. But, he starts the Borgata Series on Monday. He qualified great. My whole goal is to win that again. That's a big race. It's a race we love to win. It's, an awesome series, but it takes a lot out of them. You're going to race, at least 5 times, if not 6. So, I'm excited. We're ready to go.
It is so weird that you said that about like comparing him to foiled again. Like, of course, he'll never be a foiled again. But when I was like just looking at their, careers side by side, when I pulled it off the USTA, and I'm like, Heather, don't even think of it. Don't even think of it. There's just, but it is wild, isn't it? When you're looking at how much they made as they're getting older. And obviously he's a gelding and he's going to continue to race and possibly get better, as the other horses are going to stud and whatnot.
Yeah, no, Foiled had his 2 best years at 8 and 9. So, that's the thing is we're getting into the point right where Foiled hit its best stride. And, this is the same kind of horse. He's sound. He can get around any size track. He seemingly gets better every year. Every year is better than the year before it. So, I never would hold him to foiled, records or to try to be foiled, but by the same thing, I get it. He's a long list of the horses that we had of that caliber, like him, won the West, Maltese Artist, that like have been great aged pacers. And, I think he's our next, star that, is going to keep it going for a couple of years.
I love that. I love that because I love to see them race on. It gives the fans, a horse to cheer for year. So I'm all for that. But we are, of course, going to mention foiled again in this interview because when I'm 105 and I'm interviewing you at 105, we will always mention foiled again. Of course, for those watching and don't know, richest harness horse in history, $7.6 million. So now, can you believe he's 18 years old? He's got to be used to retirement by now, right?
It's funny. He's gotten worse. I see him now when he's in the paddock. If we don't put somebody with him, he actually stands now and screams at the end of the paddock. He has never screamed in his life. He now and runs the fence while we're training if he sees us training. So I think he wants back out there. So now we have to put somebody out with him. But he's kind of not the best buddy to have because he wants to eat everybody's food. And we had horses turned out to him and he turned into a double foiled. He was foiled squared. So we had to take him away from other horses. He has to be fed by himself or he's eating everybody's food. So, I think he figures he paid for it. He's eating it.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. Yeah, I know. He's paid for it. He's eaten it. He's so smart. So what is his deal? He migrates, right? So he is in Florida at your farm in the winter.
And then goes to my parents' home in the summer. He goes with my father. When my father goes to Florida, Foyle goes with him. When my father comes home, Foyle comes home with him. So he lives a good life. I think he really does enjoy the home even maybe more. It's more calm. It's more, there's less going on. There's always a horse in the paddock next to him. And, he's steps from my parents' house. So I really think he enjoys, but, down there, he sees the horses work and I think he wants to work. He knows that's what he did. And he never resented his work all the way till he was 14. He always, felt like to me, like he enjoyed it.
Of course, I was going to mention him anyway, but I do want to tell everyone he was in the news lately because he did buy his mom on Gate, right? So yeah. I want you to tell that story. Yes?
Yeah, we were actually very excited that his mom came up. We before tried to buy her and couldn't get her bought, and she's in foal one more time. And really, she doesn't need to be bred. And she's had a couple. I've actually had another sister to him, Safe from Terror, made over $1 million. And the foal she's carrying will be a full brother or sister to him. And then this is it. When this baby is foaled, she's retired. She will go to Crawford Farms. Michelle, is part of the foiled again now, buying the mom back. And we're going to split the baby, and then the mom will stay with Michelle for the rest of her life, as long as, and just enjoy herself and live with the retired broodmares.
All right, that's a great story. Okay, it is time for the 2-year-olds, and we have 10 that we're going to talk about. We're going to start with the Pacers, and the first one on my list is Musketeer Hanover. Now, this is a Sweet Lou out of a Marinade Hanover. It's a pacing colt, a $200,000 purchase from Harrisburg. Now, this is the 5th foal of this dam, but actually, it seems to be her first colt and her first Sweet Lou.
Yeah, no, he was a beautiful colt. Actually, when I went to the sale, there was a couple other ones when I went to Hanover that I thought I would like better. But basically, when we got there, that we decided that we were buying this colt no matter what. And it was a little bit more than we wanted to give, but he's so athletic. He's training great attitude. We have big hopes for this colt.
And look at that blaze, right? I mean, yeah. Every time my parents bring a yearling home and it's a Sweet Lou, I'm like, I don't even have to ask. Oh, it's a Sweet Lou. Love it.
He has changed the look of the breed. It's going to be cool. It's going to be like Shadow Wave for the next 30 years. You're going to see horses with the big blaze, and it's going to be attributed to him. So it's cool. I actually like that.
Yeah. So we're going to take a look at another pacing colt. This one's actually a homebred. It's a Louisiana, and I'm not sure. You might have to help me with the name. Maybe I need an accent. Louisiana Bolt, right?
No,
Oh wait,
like
that's a pacing.
It's like Usain Bolt. It's Usain Bolt. The Jamaican.
Bolt.
Yeah, it's named after the Jamaican Usain Bolt instead of Usain Bolt. This is a pacing colt.
It's a pacing colt.
Brother to Luz Pearlman, and we love it. Being honest, at this point in his career, training down, I would say he's better than Lou Pearlman was. He to me is him and Musketeer are my two best pacing colts at this minute. If you said gun to your head, who's your two best pacing colts? I think those right now are my two best.
All right. Wow. And I happen to put them first. So how about that? Let's go to another pacing colt. It's Act Fast. And actually, this is a down by the seaside out of Act Like a Diva, $125,000 purchase from Lexington. And this is Act Like a Diva's first foal.
Yeah, and you know what? As soon as I say that those are my two best, I forget this one too. We've loved this colt. We've had a great run already. The first year with Down by the Seaside, Sea Silk, Terminator, and all them. He seems to be a great sire, and this colt does everything right. Big, strong colt. Really can't fault him either. Just going to go to Ohio, and then he's staked to everything after the Ohio season ends.
Okay, we're going to check out one more pacing colt. It's Unspoken Truth before we get to the fillies now. So Unspoken Truth is a Tell It Like It Is, and he is out of Takara Rose. This is another homebred. It looks like her second foal, but actually her first colt.
Yes, and her second dam had 4, I think, that made $500,000 each. This colt's beautiful. He's big, strong. We're going back to Indiana. They've really done a great job getting their program going there, and it's a great place to race. And the last couple of years, we kind of abandoned it as a place where we bought yearlings. We just bought ready-made horses there. But we got probably, I think, 15 Indiana breds this year. So this colt's trained down great. He's actually home north. We have 20 babies north this year, and I see him a lot more than even I see the other ones, and he does everything you can ask of a colt. So I'm excited for him.
All right, let's check out the fillies now. First, we'll check out Stop the Show. She's a Sweet Lou out of Come See the Show. Obviously, really well-bred, a $400,000 purchase from Lexington, and this is her first foal.
Yeah, does nothing wrong. Has never done anything wrong. Flawless from the minute we saw her at the sale. Flawless, and she's trained down, like just does whatever you want her to do. I mean, hopefully there's no limit to what this filly's going to be. She has the breeding, she has the looks, obviously, and as long as she stays sound, I can't see her doing something special.
How about another pacing filly here? I've got Hungry for Love, obviously Stay Hungry out of Lover of Art. $80,000 purchase from Lexington. And, we talk about first foals all the time. This is actually this mare's 7th foal, but it is her first Stay Hungry.
Yeah, and we had the best filly in this family. We had Summer Charm, and this is this bigger, better version of Summer Charm. We have some Stay Hungries. This one actually is not for Brad Grant. We have some for Brad and some for us. And being honest, they've been a complete surprise to me. I couldn't believe how great looking they were at the sale. And they've trained down so far very well. I think, he's going to be a hidden gem, especially his price point, $6,000. I think he's probably the best bargain out there right now for a stallion.
Good to know. Those watching, you listen to Ron Burke. He knows a thing or two. All right. Hello. Yes. Hi. Another homebred, a Captain Treacherous out of Camille. Of course, Camille, you trained her. She made almost 1.3 million, a world champion. Now, what I found interesting is this is her fifth foal. The first four were Sweet Lou's, but now you're trying out Captain Treacherous.
Basically, because the first three were not much at all. The colt last year had talent but made breaks. And so we wanted to give her, this is her mare's last chance if she doesn't do, and it seems like it might have hit. Maybe the Lou blood didn't, cross with her. This filly has been special the whole way since being honest, she didn't even get to go to Florida. I didn't feel like she deserved to go to Florida. I kept her up north with, me. And ever since we start training her, she just does everything we ask of her. She reminds me of her mom. So, sometimes like as good as Lou has been as a sire, for some reason he has not matched well with Camille. And I didn't want to give her no chance and not give her another sire. So she's actually got an American Ideal this year. So I'm excited for her because that's a homebred that, we really thought Camille would be like a foundation broodmare for us. And it's been a little disappointing up to this point, but this one I think will be the one that turns her career around.
Yeah, I saw that she has an American Ideal, a 2021 foal. So then who makes the decisions on who to breed your mares to?
It's a combination of whoever owns it and me and Mark. Mark and Larry Carr, and they take a bit, and Frank, they all take a bigger interest in that than I do. In the end, I'll put in my 2 cents. It wasn't hard with, all to get off the Lou bandwagon with this one because it wasn't going well. And Bridget, Dr. J at Hanover, she wanted to, give her a chance to captain. She thinks that, the mare could, produce. And so we gave her a chance, it was expensive too, but like we paid up and everything seems like it was a good decision right now. She really, really, really is doing everything we ask her.
Okay. Let's go to the trotters now. We've got Point of Perfect. It's a trotting colt, Walner out of Southwind Fiat, $205,000 purchase from Lexington. This is her first foal, and it's a Walner. Walner is hot right now.
Right, and she is a full sister to Southwind Frank, probably the best trotting colt I ever had. So that was what we liked about him. Really, this was my favorite colt in Lexington last year. I wanted to buy him no matter. I actually thought he would bring more than this, but we were thrilled to get him for $205 and has done nothing wrong. Actually, he's trained down way better than Frank ever was. So, thrilled with him. Perfect gait, perfect attitude. I'm excited for him. That's the last couple of years we've struggled maybe with trotting colts. We had a good run a couple of years in a row where we had What the Hills, Southwind Frank, and horses like that. And so I'm looking to get back to those kind of horses, and I think this will be the horse that takes me there.
All right. So another trotting colt we have here is Celebrity Bambino. This is a Muscle Hill out of Celebrity Ruth, $120,000 purchase from Lexington. A first foal, another first foal. And of course, Celebrity Ruth made $500,000 on the track.
Yeah, no, this colt, like Anik went down and trained the other day, and he was like, oh my God, this Point of Perfect is the best colt Yins have had in a long time. And then he went out and trained this colt and said, I can't separate them. And I said, that's been talked the whole way down there. These are our two best trotting colts. And, he's bred like to do it. He looks the part. Same thing, great attitude, great gait. So, I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to be, a factor again in the 2-year-old colt trotters. So, we'll see. Like, how it is. Until they do it, you can't say they will. But I have good feelings for these guys.
Yeah, they're all world champions right now. That's what's so exciting about this part of the year.
Nah, I got some that aren't world champions right now. I already got some. I know. I don't kid myself. I got some that they're looking for condition claimers in Ohio real quick.
Well, let's hope that this next one and this last baby that we're going to talk about is a world champion, because she was the sail topper from Harrisburg, and it's in Italian. She's a Chapter 7 out of Hemi Blue Chip, $750,000 from Harrisburg, a full sister to Atlanta.
Probably never saw a horse paddock better than she did. She was incredible in the paddock. Being honest, when she first started training down, was just middle of the pack. And I was like, maybe we were babying her a little bit. And then we started asking her to do more. And as soon as we asked her to do more, she exploded. So now has moved right to the front of the fillies. Trot's perfect. She's a bigger, stronger version of Atlanta. She's bigger right now than Atlanta is right now. With her breeding, you got to hope that, she does well, because they turned down a big profit for her like 10 minutes after the set. They bought her. I think Howard and Brad wanted to give her a shot. They've enjoyed the Atlanta ride. I'm thrilled to get her. She's wonderful mouth. It's just like her sister. And that's the thing is, I think her sister, wasn't a great 2-year-old and was a great 3-year-old for Rick Zeron, did a great job teaching her. We got her at 4. She kept, just getting better. 5, she got better. I think this filly is going to follow the same path. Whatever you see when you first see her isn't going to be who she's going to end up to be. This filly will get better all along and will learn. And she's got an unlimited where she can go, because she's definitely a bigger, stronger version of her sister and seems to have the same attitude of her sister, which is what I think separates Atlanta from almost any other trot mare that I have trained.
I know that you have been in a lot of big races and there's been pressure on you in different ways, but when you get a sail topper for $750,000, is there any pressure there?
You know what? Being honest, I don't own her, so it's not as much pressure. If I owned her, there'd be more pressure. When I'm buying them at $400 for me, it's got a lot more hurt for me than for Brad or Howard. But of course, there's pressure. But Howard and Brad they're big boys. They understand the game. Just because you buy the most expensive, don't guarantee you get the best horse, or we would all buy the most expensive. So, I'm not one really to worry about that. I treat them all the same. Like once they're bought, the $2,000 one and the $100,000 and the $700,000 to me are all the same until they earn it. But yeah, there's a little more pressure. I mean, I'm not going to go out and crash her into a fence, I hope, so, I don't want to tell Howard I wrecked her or something. So, I mean, he's an attorney. I got to watch what I do with him. So, but, overall, they're great. My owners are great. I think about it all the time. My guys, nobody says anything. Nobody bothers me. It's pretty much do what you want, and then, like I always say, I'll take when they do good, but when they do bad, I'll take the blame. So, hopefully there's a lot of credit coming, not a lot of blame headed my way.
Let's hope so. I'm looking really forward to watching her race, especially when you gave her, so many props about her being like Atlanta, so that's going to be fun to see her this year.
Oh no, I'm excited. It really, it's an exciting time. Obviously listen, I'd much rather train the most expensive ones than the 2,000 ones. I didn't get to be a better trotting trainer. It's easy. Just buy Walners, Muscle Hills, and Chapter 7s. It's not that hard. They pretty much make you a better trotting trainer.
This is why we have you on Twos in Training, so that people watching and, want to look into babies can be, putting these tips down as, their notes as you're talking. So I love that. A lot of good takeaways. Now, I'm pretty much done asking my questions. I think, who knows, something could pop up between now and the end of our interview, but we are going to go to the viewer questions. And so let's check them out. We've got a viewer question from Carrie McGrill. What Grand Circuit races will Atlanta be in this year?
Basically everyone. everyone that's scheduled. She's going to race the mares mostly this year. She will race the Maple Leaf Trot against the boys, but every mares race and the Maple Leaf Trot she'll race against the boys. That's the plan if everything, knock on wood, goes. And if there isn't a girls' version, she will go against the boys anytime there isn't a girls' version of the race. So she's got
Yes.
a lot of stuff, a lot of work to put in this year.
Okay. All right. Dave Briggs asks, what is your best, worst underbidder story of being the underbidder on a horse that turned out to be a star?
You know what? Probably for the worst for us, when we were just buying one or two a year, and we finally had an owner said, go buy, one baby, whatever you want. And we were the underbidder on Western Hanover. And that was the time when it would have changed our lives, so that, there's been a lot of times we've been underbidders on great horses. We were underbidder on Tactical Landing, we were underbidder on, but that maybe at that point in our career was probably, I know my dad was like he bought the horse before a Fresh Yankee for $950 and she sold for $900. That's like 60 years ago, but it happens. If you're bidding a lot and you're buying a lot, you're going to be the underbidder on ones, but you're also sometimes going to be the overbidder and somebody else was the underbidder, so, it's neat, but like, I would say Western Hanover because that could have changed our lives. Now, we get enough good horses. I'm not sweating if we don't get one or we don't get it. Like, I very rarely do I feel like we lose a horse we really want. There was one this year called Lord Bridgerton. I really wanted. He went to SRF, and I'm excited to see, does he come back to bite me? So, we'll see.
All right, our next question is from Ruben Danto, and he asks, as an owner and stable operator and manager, do you offer partnerships for new investors in the business, or do you stick to what's been working for all these years?
You know what? We take on new partners with the babies a little bit more. We'll split the babies into bigger, because it's more of a gamble. So we'll go where everybody owns smaller parts and we'll put more owners on a baby. The race horses, we pretty much go with the same group that we've been going with for the last 20 years. I mean, obviously Burke Racing and Weaver Buscemi are going to take a part. With the babies, Jerry Silva takes a part of every baby. Larry Carr and Phil Calera take a part of almost every baby. Things like that. So there's a group. Basically, as soon as a baby is hammered down to a 75% of it sold, and then we'll fill in as we go. And, my father always wants more. He always likes to take a bigger part. So that, that part, we will take people. We're not actively looking for people to, buy babies, but we like to do it because I like people to enjoy the sport. I find most people do enjoy being with us. We try to make it fun. Like, we really enjoy the good times and we don't, beat ourselves up too much over the bad times.
All right, our next question again is from Dave Briggs, and he asks, when buying yearlings, how regimented are you? I'm assuming you have a rough budget in mind for most horses you bid on, but how often do you go on to your number? And when you do choose to go well beyond your number, what pushes you to do that? Gut instinct or trusting your inspection process?
I'm pretty good about staying at my number. Like, I might go 10% fast or 20% on a rare horse, but it's a business and like we have to make money doing this. So I'm good about that. Most owners find me even annoying because they want to push a little bit. And I'm like, no, we said we were going here. The one exception was, Tactical Landing. We went to sell saying we'd spend $250. By the time the sale was, going, we realized that wasn't going to get it done. So we said $500. Literally, I bid $775. They bid $800. And my dad's like, "What's the matter, chicken? Let's go." And I'm like, "What? When were we going to stop? Are we never stopping? Are we going to $1 million?" So, we stopped, and maybe he was right. Maybe I should have pushed on. But It's a business for me, so no, we do stick to our number. We try to hold ourselves to it.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you, I adore your father so much,
Yeah.
and I could sit there and listen to Mickey Burke stories all day long. So I will ask him about that, and I can't wait to hear him tell me that same story.
Yeah, I mean, his kids are all grown up. They're all out of college. He doesn't need to worry about it as much as me.
All right, another question is from Dean Towers, and he asks, your horses all appear ready to win when you enter them. Are there times when you are not all out to win the race? And if so, what reasons might that be? Prep, time off, etc.
No, to me, I believe in this. If you're going out there, you're going out there to win. Now, does that mean we're going to roll them down the road and put them on the lead every time? No, but that's not always the best way to win. But like, I believe if I need my horses, if they're not ready to win, I'll put them in a qualifier again, or I'll train them again. Like, I don't think when people are betting on you, you should be using your horses to prep. I do believe we are a gambling industry. We do owe the gamblers a fair shake. Do I believe, yeah, can you take them back and race them from the back? Yeah. That doesn't mean you're not trying to win. You're trying to win in another way. But my guys know when we send them out, like all my drivers know, we want to win. I love winning. It's what I do. I'm not worried about saving wins or anything like that. You know what? I found one thing: win every race you can now before something goes bad, and then you can't win anymore. So I love winning. I want to win every time I go out.
Yeah, it's there's this quote Tim Tetrick has used before, and I love it. And he says, "I don't want to win all the races, just the ones I'm in." You know,
Right?
and
Exactly. It's 100.
yeah. All right. So Kathleen Batesel asked, and this is our last question: how much are the 2-year-olds? I'm sorry. How much are the 2-year-old trotting fillies going this time of year?
I answered this actually on Twitter to her. We've been in 220 with almost every one of our horses. We're a little bit ahead of everybody, but that's because the March 15th payment is so important to me. I push them a little bit till then, and now I'll lay off. I'll back off a little bit. Like, I need to have an idea. I just don't want to throw money at every baby. Like, I'm trying to make an educated guess of, which ones are my better ones and which ones should be staked to the bigger races. So we were in 220 pretty much with all our trotting fillies. I find trotting fillies, I think trotters are easier to get going fast earlier than pacers a lot of time because it's more natural. And I definitely believe all fillies train down quicker than colts. They're just like humans. They're smarter, younger than, I mean, obviously, look at most girls at 14 and use most boys at 14. The girls are way, way ahead at that point, So, I it doesn't bother me that they're already in 20. I actually like it. Now I'll back them off, and I'll take my time a little bit. And then another push right before the next stake payment. And then from there, before you think you ship from home from Florida, you take a week or two off for that, qualifiers. Let's go. You got to find out who's who.
When you're racing in different states, though, I mean, are there different time, are you doing your Ohio's a little bit different from your, Pennsylvania's?
I'd like to say that I am, but I don't. I'm pretty regimented. I'm pretty regimented. I bend their schedules to mine. Once I get them racing, then I'll worry about when their stakes are and stuff. I can back one off, start it back. But when I'm training down, we want to go down as a group. The whole group goes together. 66 of them. I expect all 66 to be going down the same way. It's not realistic. You have horses that fall behind, and I'll let them fall behind a little bit. But I've gotten better. I have a little more patience, but it's not really what I'm known for. Pretty much soldiers. Let's go. Let's get going. Strong survive. But I'm getting better. Mark keeps telling me I need to do it more, but I'm getting better.
Well, I mean, on that, I think that's a great Ron Burke ending to this interview. Yeah, the strong survive. But
Yeah.
I'm so happy that, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, it's the truth. I mean, it really is. I find the ones that can take the work tend to be the great ones, so those are the ones I'm looking for.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on this first episode of our Twos in Training 2022 season. And for everybody out there watching, thanks for watching. Thank you to Standardbred Horse Sales Company and to Winback Delaware for sponsoring. And also, next week, we will have Heather Wilder from Florida. She was on location, and she's going to be bringing you Twos in Training. I'll be in New Jersey soon, so we have so many great episodes of Twos in Training coming up. Don't forget to subscribe to Harness Racing Update, harnessracingupdate.com. It is free. And again, thank you. Thank you, Ron Burke. Oh, wait. Thank you, Hall of Famer Ron Burke, for joining me.
No, that's cool. It really is. That's neat. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thanks, guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
Winback Farm of Delaware is proud to present 3 new stallions for 2022. Each with 3-year-old Colt Pacer of the Year, he's watching with over $1 million in career earnings. Multiple stakes winners sports column with a sizzling 149-1 mark, and Yonkers Trot winner Top Flight Angel with nearly $1 million in career earnings. Also, Heston Blue Chip, a proven sire of stakes winners, will now stand at Diamond Creek Farm of Pennsylvania with earnings over $1.7 million. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.